Running a Fever, episode 61. We're going to talk about death today. It's an overcast day here. Kind of cool. Feels cooler than the 50-ish temperature it's supposed to be. And on a part of the trail I've never recorded while walking this part of the Lake Fayetteville Trail. But it is the second time I've been on here. I didn't record last time. It's past a nice stream running through. The birds are very active today. Second workout of the week. I've been going 3 miles each time. So the 3 mile thing has been going, it's a challenge, but it's been going well. Try to keep a pretty good pace as long as I can. And afterwards I feel like I've got a really good workout. So when I did go on this part of the trail for the first time earlier this week, I have now completed the circuit. I've completed the perimeter and I've now seen the entire trail around the lake, and really not that far from being able to walk the whole thing. 3 miles is most of the way there. 5.25 miles roughly. So we're gonna get there. Today we had the biometrics checkpoint at work, which I'm coordinating, and it turned out well. I'm still doing well. We'll be within, it will be under 30 BMI with my shoes off. I've been weighing with my shoes on at work because why really take my shoes off at work? It's not like it's counting. Howdy. Blood pressure is still pretty low. I think it was 128 over 72, something like that. It's in the 120s and in the 70s. I know that. So I think that's pretty good. I'm still on my medication, but I will eventually, if this keeps up, talk to my doctor about going off the medication. So this part of going forward in numbers starts at 3.81, I believe. And then I go up 1.5 miles. I need to go to the a little over the 5 mile mark, 5.25. This goes all the way to Veterans Park from a place called the Botanical Gardens. I am so impressed with that guy. Making all that noise, he's just amazing. I just wish I could be like him and make noise that the whole city could hear. So it's great that we can see through the trees because the leaves haven't fully filled out. So from this vantage point I can actually see the lake. And you can see it too probably because if everything works out correctly, this will be my first video episode. You'll get the audio of course, but the video will be available either in the feed or at YouTube. And you should go and subscribe on YouTube. Just search for Running a Fever. You'll have better results if you do it all one word, just like the website, runningafever.com. And there you'll find all the episodes. Currently just have the featured photo of each episode. But for this episode, there will be a video. I just bought this sports action camera. So go look for that. I won't be doing this every time because although it would look slightly different, it looks different to me every time. I don't know that it would be that interesting to you. If you'd like to see it every time, then by all means, comment on this episode at runningafever.com. You have to go to the website and then click on the episode. Go to the episode page and there you can comment on it. Or you can click on contact and just send me a message that way. Or you can comment on YouTube. It's a lot easier. Just go there and enter a comment. But every once in a while, when there's something new, I may post a video because now I'm able to do that. I've got it strapped to my head and we're just cruising along. So we'll get to see what that looks like later. Testing has gone really well, so hopefully it will be good. Death. Not really a goal. And that's something that most people want to achieve. well, I'm really trying hard so I can die. It kind of implies living as shortly as possible and not making your life last as long as possible, which is what we are trying to do here. But it's inevitable. If you're human, it's going to happen. So preparing for death, you usually think about things like, funeral plans, making out a will, getting your affairs in order. That's not what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about death as an endpoint to a life. And if you want to read a short biography of an ordinary person that is not a celebrity, you can go to an obituary. An obituary is not the same thing as a eulogy. So eulogy is a speech about a person, generally listing their good points. But an obituary is a written summation of the life of a person. So you can go to a website, a town's local website, for example. Your town probably has a website, and you can go there, and it may be a government website or a commercial website. Really, it comes from newspapers. You can still see them in newspapers, which are printed on a daily or weekly basis on very cheap paper in a large size. They have advertisements, small and large, and they have announcements. Some places you still have to make announcements of certain types, like real estate auctions or something like that, in a newspaper for a certain period of time to make sure that the public knows about it. And you have sections like sports and news and finance, and these are just the different sections. You have a whole little section you pull out and you read that like it's a part of, a little newspaper. And you can get these at the grocery store, convenience store, other places for 50 cents or $1 or $1.25. And the obituaries are kind of, it's a column really, which is not a section, not really an article. It's a place in the paper that has a certain type of information that is available in every issue. One thing you can count on is people are going to keep dying. So if your town is large enough, someone will be dying every day. And that's probably true of any place that is large enough to have a daily newspaper. So every day people are dying, and there are these little brief biographies. And they usually mention members of the family. John Smith leaves behind his wife of 32 years, Emma Smith, 2 sons and 8 grandchildren, and so forth. John Smith worked at the Acme widget plant for 30 years as a forklift operator. He was an active member of his church and a veteran of the Vietnam War, etc., etc., etc. Funeral services will be held at the local general funeral home at 3 o'clock this coming Saturday. Sometimes they're as boring as that. I mean, the obituary is usually written by someone who knew the person, hopefully somewhat well, and may have input from several family members or friends. And sometimes you get something more interesting, like one that I read not long ago about a man who was similar to the story I told, but it talked specifically about how he loved his job and the people that he knew there, because he had been there for a long time. And at the end it said that instead of saying the funeral will be held It said, a celebration of his life. I like that. I like that, because really, we all have our different ways of grieving, but one part of that, and one thing we definitely need to do, is to celebrate the life of the person who has left this world. I want to prepare for this. Now is the time, because we're living, to fill up our resume, to fill up our obituary with good things. People, friends, family, love. Do you want your obituary to just mention those facts? Daughter of Paul and Mary, worked at several jobs in the accounting industry throughout her life. And that's it. Or do you want people who really know you at a closer, deeper level to write an obituary because they know from personal experience what you did with your life and how good and full and rich it was, and how you enhanced the lives of other people around you, how you really contributed something to this world. And most of all, the joy that you had throughout your life. That's what I want. I want an obituary filled with joy. And so I'm not preparing for death by making a will or buying funeral insurance or getting my affairs in order, although all of those things are important. I'm preparing to fill out a really awesome obituary someday, because I'm gonna die. It's just a matter of how I get there. One of the good things, perhaps a bad thing about video, is you can capture everything. I don't have to go along with a camera and decide when I want to snap a picture. I'm capturing everything. Like that time when all right, let me get this straight. 1.5 miles would be 4.8.
Warning. Live math. Warning. Live math.
5.3. I'm not sure what they call that kind of bicycle, but that's what I was thinking about. I was remembering that I'd seen a bicycle one time and I didn't have time because he went by really fast, so he was actually going the other direction. So I didn't get time to take a picture of it because it was strange. To where?
Parking lot up there?
About 1.5 miles.
Ah, okay, thank you.
Hey. What's up? Howdy. Diet report. I think I'm up to about 1,500 calories a day. Staying roughly the same weight. I gained about 4 pounds earlier in the week from eating really high calorie suppers, and then I lost it in the last few days. And I wasn't starving, I was eating 1,300, 1,400. Last night it was about 1,600 calories. Lost a pound. And this doesn't, you can't say, well, however, the differential in calories today from what I burned is going to result in weight loss the following day. It's not exact like that. So you got to keep an eye on the trend and your averages. And I'm not doing that, not like calculating the averages, just kind of keeping a mental average. And I think I'm, last few days, about 1,500 calories with little or no weight change. If you're watching the video, hopefully you can see the water through the trees right now. Be sure to capture that before it goes away when the trees fill out. This morning I had a breakfast of almost 700 calories. 2 whole eggs, 4 links of turkey sausage, Can't remember if I had the tomato today or yesterday. And then toast. Actually, all I had was hamburger buns, so I toasted a hamburger bun, which is about 130 calories, with some Smart Balance and some honey. And honey isn't really that bad. Expect it to be super high in calories, but it's really, I think about 80 or 90 calories per 2 tablespoons. In any event, less than 100 calories per tablespoon, which is what I think things like mayonnaise and peanut butter are. And as of now, I think I'm about 1,000, maybe 1,100 calories, and I still got one meal or two to go. Leaves seem almost like they've grown, filled in since I started out and walked out. My inbound walk, they seem like it's already grown up. At this 3-mile distance, I'm starting to feel pretty good at the end of it. The way back always seems longer than the way out, no matter which part of the course I'm on. But you know, runners start to get that runner's high and they get addicted to that, or one of the things that helps them get through those really difficult times. And I remember saying that when I was running. After a while, it sort of gets easier. Starting to get that here. So today, talked about death. What do you want your obituary to read like? What do you want to be in there? Had a diet report. We went on a new part of the course that I've never described to you before, and we made our first video show. So check out the older episodes at runningafever.com. Subscribe. Tell your friends, and most of all, keep the fever. For fitness, diet, good diet, and good medicine. Talk to you next time.
This is the Padua Podcast Network. PaduaMedia.com.